Okay, so boom. So now I'm tired of my business. I'm just like, okay, as much as I know that I don't want to be at nobody's company, no matter how much I love them and they love me, I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I had a big old rent and I needed to pay it. So I get the job. And at first it's love, because it's like, I know these ladies. I literally like can be at home chilling and working, and like, it's cool. But I just always knew that I was supposed to do more with my business, but I was using this job as an opportunity to get finances and work on my business at the same time. And so while I'm working there, I'm still going to church. I'm still going to the gym. I'm starting to get out of my people pleasing ways. I'm starting to put boundaries on my life. Like, I stopped drinking, and this was a person who used to drink a bottle of wine a night. Like, what? I'm taking a bottle of wine to the head and just walking around like nobody's business. And also smoke. Like, me and we was together like this. And so I don't know, something came over me to just be like, with the drinking, I knew I had to stop it. Because one, I started to realize addiction run in my family. And the problem with when we sit around and we just indulge, it's already in the lineage and we pick it up. And so I remember my ex-boyfriend at the time bought like all these different big pints of alcohol from my alcohol stand, and I was sad, and I got up and started drinking, because that's what you do. You say you go drink. But that day, after that night, I was so hungover. I woke up the next morning and I poured every bottle. They were brand new bottles of alcohol. I did not want to risk drinking not another bit of liquor after that hangover. Poured it all away, ain't touched this in, and have not cared about alcohol. So then I like started to come into like who I am, because I think when we go through a lot of traumatic stuff back to back, you start to gain the identity that you're associated with this trauma, because that's your life, not realizing that a lot of times we go and pick that trauma up and put it on our back instead of giving it to God. And a lot of the things that I was going through was because I was trying to control the narrative. And here's the thing, if you know me, you know that's what I do. I try to control what I can, because I have been through so much in my life that I refuse to just let things happen, because I have probably already been through that. So this time around, I just started to let things be. People say I'm this, I am. People want to fall out, bye. Like, that's where I was. And I started to get more peace and more of my own identity of like which direction I wanted my life to go. So all of this is happening over a month span. So now this job, it ain't cool no more. Like, to the point that the women are fake. They're constantly talking about each other behind each other's back. But here's the thing. But then phony kicking it in the messages, telling me one thing about a person, but then want me to sit up here and like keep it quiet. And I'm like, oh no, I don't play these games. So now I just want to be here for work. Like, we can't even have a personal side. But even that was the problem. And so it started to get to the point that I'm like, oh, this is the same reason why I left working at a job alone, because of this toxic work environment. And it wasn't even just the people. It was that the place is so, it's like a big company, but they still do things very mom and pop like shopish way. And then they also, the right hand don't know what the left hand doing. It's a lot of processes that are outdated. It's a lot of things that are not put down on paper. It just made me realize that the company itself, the structure, when you have a handful of people that's been with the company so long and they refuse to change their ways and how they do things, then when people come in there and want change and want streamline and want to get out of the humdrum way of doing it, then it's a hard thing for the new person to come in and do. And see, when I was working at this job before, I had a manager, a director that she didn't play them games. Like, she literally would be like, no, this is not right. We're going to correct this and hold people accountable. And that's why I attribute a lot of success in my own business to her, because it was, let's look at the numbers, let's look at the data and figure out what needs to be corrected so we can, advance and for the greater good of the company, not just what we want to stick to, like our own, old ways. And so, not to venture off, but now I'm going through it, and it's around May 2024, and I'm like, God, I done quit doing the bad things. At this point, I'm not even talking to no man. And if you know me, I'm a lover girl. Like, what? I always got a boyfriend. So for me to take a break from men, especially when I needed money, because that's another thing, I always get a boyfriend that's gonna pay some bills, because if anything, I'm gonna be in love and have my bills paid. So this was new for me, but I decided that because I just felt like something in my soul, because I'm still going to church actively, I'm trying to read the word a little by little, I'm trying to get there. I'm just like, let me take a break from everybody and clear my mind. And here it is, this job driving me crazy. So the end of May, I'm like, I'm have to start back my cleaning service business. Now, mind you, in January, I lost my last 2 cleaners. So whatever I couldn't do, which my back was messed up and I could barely walk, so I couldn't do any cleans myself. What I couldn't do for like cleaning, that's why my business wasn't really making any money. And so I really was relying on this job, but the job was stressing me and making me feel so crazy that I'm like, oh, something gotta give. So I get baptized June 1st, 2024. Baptized. I don't even know how I came. I literally don't even, I just woke up one day. Nope. I know how it started. So my god sister and I, Jasmine, went to Sarah Jakes Roberts. Now, this is the thing. At Sarah Jakes Roberts, something came over me and said, you need to go to Texas. So my god sister was already planning to move to Texas, and then my other god sister, whose name Jasmine, is already in Texas. And I'm like, and then my brother and sister are in Texas, and I'm like, God, why I ain't think of that? Like, you smart. Like, I'm glad you told me. Yeah, we going to Texas. So that, I think we went to go see Sarah Jakes Roberts in May. So June 1st, I get baptized at Evolve, and I don't know what it was about getting in that water, but I'm telling y'all, I got in that water, in every sin, every shame, every insecurity, every fear, all the stuff that happened, the drama, the toxic relationships, the parents that, wasn't parents to me, the grief of losing my grandmother, the lack of financial resources, I promise you, it's at the bottom of that pool. Because baby, when I got out, I felt like a sense of cleanse. Like, I felt like, I don't care who say what, I felt like a clear whiteboard. I feel like on the whiteboard before, it was like all these doodles and drawings and chaos, and then when I came out that water, it just was clear. Now, here's the thing, I'm not gonna never let nobody believe that, oh, just because you get baptized, that clears everything. Because baby, I'm gonna tell y'all something. The night that I got baptized, I was sitting there talking on the phone to my brother, and I said, yeah, the enemy can say anything his way, because baby, I'm ready for it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because as soon as I said it, the enemy said, what? When I tell y'all, all hell broke loose. Starting with, he sent the man that I knew that I was going to marry and be in love with and have his kids back to me in a format of, yeah, let's do this. And I said, oh. And that's why when Pastor Kenneth today talked about those false blessings, because see, it was the man that was available, but he hadn't got God in his heart like I had got God in my heart. And I knew from the time I started reading the word that I only wanted a man that was led by God. Because if he wasn't led by God, he wasn't gonna be with me. He wasn't gonna be able to make it work with me, because I only can be led by the man that I choose will be led by God, and I will be led by that man. So if he ain't praying and putting it, whatever the Bible said in front of me to do, if he ain't doing it for himself, I'm not doing it. So, but I did get a little distance. Again, I'm a lover girl, so this is my testimony. And then the job just was chaotic. So I prayed. I remember like sitting there and talking about it with myself, like, girl, if you lose this job, if you drop this job and you don't got no cleans, how are you going to do it? I remember asking myself, like, you sound crazy. But because I've always been that person, like, I'm gonna figure it out. And then I'm like, I got God now. So, like, before I was doing life without God, but I got God now. So I'm pretty sure that now that I'm doing things right and abstaining from sin, that he got me. Y'all, I just ended up scheduling a meeting with our VP. So like the person that was over both of my managers, because I had went to both of my managers to try to resolve the issues that I was, facing, and there was no resolution. So I went to my VP, which I had a good relationship with the higher ups, to the point that like one of the owners of the company came to me and asked me about Bizsentials. He's like, Makisha, how's business? And I'm like, at this time, my last 2 cleaners had quit. And so I'm like, it's beating me left and right. And he's like, use us as a resource. Like, you got a whole business here. What do you need? And I'm like, right now, I need some funds. I need, accounting. I need this, that, and the third. He's like, well, and he set me up with somebody that like can tell me what to do as far as like getting investments and working with them. And so I was just like, okay, I see you. But again, at that very moment, Bizsentials was not paying a bill for me. So for me to walk away from this job, I just, whatever. But I decided to have the conversation. And so after I told the VP everything I was experiencing at that job my second time around, he was caught off guard. He was so surprised because it was a good team. And like, I always try to see the good in people. They have very great qualities. I think that unfortunately, when people are just in toxic workplaces for so long, they can't see outside of that. And that's why I went to him. But he said, Makisha, name your number to stay. I said, nah, I'm a roll with just getting back in my business. And I'm on ghetto Burlai if my phone is just all over the place. That's why. So after I said no to the fact that he asked me what it would take to stay, I said, oh, that gotta be the Lord. Because me, I've always been a numbers girl. If it look right on paper, if I can go and live my luxurious life and be cool, I'm going to get the money. So yeah, I didn't want to work, but like I said, it was a cool atmosphere to where I could work from home and be comfortable. And then he telling me I could get what I want. I don't know what came out of I don't even think I realized at the time that I had turned down. But again, something put it on my heart, like, you're going to make it regardless. So I was supposed to work 2 weeks. After the first day, the managers knew I told them it was a hot mess. So I just added HR onto the email thread, like, hey, and this is why I'm not staying, because it's toxic and I ain't the one to be playing with. So the VP, the bosses, HR, they get on the phone and they say, you know what, we gonna pay you for 2 weeks and you only gotta work 1, and you don't even worry about the PTO. I said, you know what? Heck yeah, let's do it. And that's what happened. So then now at the end of June though, I only got a certain amount of money coming in, but I still got a big old rent. And when I'm saying big old rent, like, my rent itself was $1,900, and then that's not to add on all the amenities and luxurious experience they try to sell you. So each month I was paying like $2,200. And here's the caveat to that: the apartment was in my sister's name, so I gotta pay it. Because here's the thing, like, you don't ever want to play with my siblings because they crazy, and what's a goon to a goblin? So I'm not trying to get into it with my sister like that about this apartment, girl. So anyway, but I start paying what I can, whatever little money I would get from helping people with stuff, or, you know, I started selling things online. It was just working out for me. Then I was able to get government assistance because, you know, at this point now I have a job. And so I remember like getting to the ending point of my lease and being like, should I just renew it? And I'm like, why would I renew it when God already told me to go to Texas? So I tell my sister, like, you know what? I don't know how I'm about to pull this off, but I'm going to move out there to Texas with y'all and just end this lease. She said, okay. So I sent them the notice. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what. I ain't got no job lined up, nothing. And so I told essentially like myself that in the time, and to back up. So when I quit my job, I sat down because Bizsentials had always been in the back of my mind from what I went through with Bizsentials. So when it came down to me not having a job, I said, I'm going to throw myself into work because now I don't have nothing to, you know, distract me. And that's what I did. I'm getting up every day at 5. I'm going to the gym by 6. And then at 7 o'clock, I'm coming in, getting dressed. 8 o'clock, I am punching in to Bizsentials and working on Bizsentials as if it's a job. Like, you can ask anybody that came to my house at the time. I got a whiteboard full of to-do lists and things to cross off. And then I got my day-to-day, like, monthly planner as a whiteboard, and I'm adding stuff to there. I'm like, in my Google Calendar, it's nothing but webinar trainings, meetings with people that can offer like funding resources. And then I'm scheduling time that I could just actually sit and study and watch things. And so I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just doing something. So now in August, when it's time for me to move out of my apartment or whatever, all that I had been doing was focusing on my businesses, like Bizsentials, trying to figure out how to get that funded. But I had reached out to the people that I wanted to incorporate in Bizsentials team, because I said, you know what? I can't be everything to everybody. And plus, I want others to be able to experience what it's like to have somebody helping you with your business, like so many people have helped me. And that's ultimately where the idea for Bizsentials came. I don't even know why, because here's the thing. I never like to engage with people. If you my person or my people, like if I like you on a personal level, I'm talk your ear off. But if you are a person that I don't know, and I gotta just force myself to talk, I don't like that. So for me to say I want to start a business where I have to go out and talk to people, that was bizarre. I had never, it never crossed my mind. And that's why I say Bizsentials is a God's business, a God's mission business. And I'm gonna get back down to it. So in August, everybody, James, Kiera, Kevin, Deidre, they like, you know what? Let's see, because they all have their businesses doing, you know, marketing and logo, marketing media. And Trayvon, marketing media, logo, web development, and Deidre was the executive assistant. So then I kick it to my play sister, like, hey, can we use your business for practice? She said, yeah. So we practiced, and it go good. Now it was some hurdles, and it was a lot of me training and getting my character developed and getting my business, you know, skills developed. But I didn't know that. I just knew that I had to keep going because God put this on my heart, and he kept aligning things with me. Every time I would go work on something with Bizsentials or get Bizsentials funded, it would be like, no, not happening right now. And I'm like, dang, like I can't get my own business funded, but Bizsentials keep falling in my lap. Like things kept falling in my lap. And then I kept talking to more and more people, and more people were like, yeah, we'll be down for that. So then I am completely like out of my apartment, and I got all these business expenses. So I'm like, God, do I go try to get an apartment and, you know, use this money, or do I invest into the business? And something came over me to be like, invest it into the business. So from August into December, I slept on different family members' houses, from my best friends to my god sisters to my cousins, to whoever would allow me to stay. I stay with them. Couch surfing is what I call it. And but it was a great experience, because I didn't realize that their kids had grown, so many things had transformed in their lives. And so it was like God was blessing us with each other. Like, you know, if you know me, I cook and I clean, and I'm a good time. But I could tell that the people I was staying with was happy for me to be there, and the gifts that I can bless them with. And then also, it was a good time for me to see, like, these are the people that I need to reach back and help, because they've held me down all these years, and they are good people. And I get the blessing of being able to be around these people who love me. And I said right then and there, once I started going through this, the only thing that is the hindrance is the fact that our businesses are not producing enough income to get us the financial freedom we're looking for. But these are God's people. So then I got serious about Bizsentials. So then towards the end of 2024, I knew that undoubtedly, before I go and work on Bizsentials, because here's the thing, them cleaning products gonna be a hit. That software, that's gonna be a hit. What I do with Bizsentials is gonna be a hit. These contracts gonna come in. But before I place because with Bizsentials, I can't help other people win if I'm just focused on my business. But with Bizsentials, I can. And that's why when Pastor Ken said, Moses said, if I can't bring everybody, then I'll just stay here. That's exactly how I feel. Because looking in hindsight, God had to get me out the people-pleasing boundary phase that allowed me to feel like I had to take care of everybody. God wanted me to, I'm going to put these gifts in you, the right people who will be aligned with you, and I will place with you are the people that you need to bring out of essentially Egypt. And it was so profound that Pastor Ken said that today, because now, fast forward, in February 2025, Bizsentials is rebranded. Like, we literally just rebranded our business. And now I rebranded to where I have even more people that have, like, the expertise and the willingness to help other small businesses. Like, I keep saying it's crazy, but it's not crazy. It's God. God have been having people fall in my lap that either has the hunger or enough experience to provide other business owners the essentials, because we're not sitting here trying to get big businesses. Our company, Bizsentials, is all about, we want to help other people like us to get bigger. Other entrepreneurs helping other entrepreneurs. And then one of the things that I realized on this journey from me getting baptized is that with this being God's business, I'm going to always give it to God only. This was not me doing. Like I said, I don't like talking to people. I was going to give this to God. We were going to pray. And it's even wilder. I met with who's the accountant on my team now. I met with her the first time, and she said, and I remember when I was introduced to her by a colleague of mine, she said, oh yeah, you gonna get your taxes done? Because I had not done my taxes. Okay, that's another story for another day. She said, you're gonna get your taxes done, and you're gonna get a prayer with every meeting. And I'm like, a prayer? She prayed for you? She said, yeah. And on my first meeting with my accountant, she prayed. In every meeting, she prayed. And now she leads us in prayer in our team meetings, because this is God's business and we're going to cover it. And here's the thing. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be having your walk with the Lord, but this is God's business. So that's what's going to be done. Our mission it includes God. It's for God's people. So to leave him out of the equation, I will never allow. And every time we're on the team meeting and Angela pray, you see everybody on the Zoom call with bowed heads, and it's lovely because he is at the head, and we cannot start saying that we want to be in, business and be having finances if God is not leading it, because you will get money. And that's another thing that Pastor Ken hit on the head today. I done made money. Oh, if you know me, you know, whether it was at a corporate job, whether it was in the streets, whether it was by my own accord, I'm going to get some money. I like nice things. I like the steakhouses. I like to travel. I like all the bad and bougie. I hate being left off of bad and bougie. I am on the bad and the bougie. So I've always been able to get the money, but this was my problem. One, I didn't do it with God. So I was never able to do it and sustain it. Two, I always just kept it for myself because I felt like that's the least life can do for me, for everything that I've been through. Like, it's to make me rich. So I always kept it to myself. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't stingy like that. Like, I kept blessing people, but I made sure that I had what I wanted before going and helping others. And then three, I always had to hustle for it. It never just came easy. So now with Bizsentials, it's the exact opposite. One, this is God's business. Two, I don't work hard for it at all. God literally aligns me with every client that I've had, every consultant that I have, every business that I'm working with. It's just a miracle that I am aligned with these people. It's nothing but God. And so when Pastor Ken was talking about, how we have to keep God at the presence of it, I'm like, wow, he is really speaking my life. Like, I cannot. And then he talked about how you can't be trying to lead and then raise yourself above the people, because so many people that come to me about Bizsentials be like, oh, you need to charge X, Y, and Z since it's your business. This not my business. This God's business. And as long as I'm getting enough to eat and to keep the business going, because I have to fill up my cup first, yes. But I am not trying to get a higher income than everybody else, or get all the money from me and pay everybody nickels and dimes. No, I am paying people what they're worth. And that's why I refuse to go down on my prices with Bizsentials, because these are God's people doing God's work, needing to get the financial resources to continue, because this is God's blessing to them. How dare I go in there and say, oh, you got to work for dollars on end so that I can have the money? I'm nobody. I'm just the vessel that God put the ideal in and gave the mouth part of it too. But every time I even get in front and start talking about Bizsentials, the old me, the usual me, I needed anxiety medicine to stay cool. I needed, to go to have public speaking skills classes in order to be able to deliver any presentation that I do in front of people. But then I realized God gives me everything, including the words to say, including the ambition to do it, including the people to do it with, including the financial resources. That's another thing I want to bring back. Once I let go and let God and just fell back to the waistline, like, God is yours, my life is yours, whatever you decide. All I know is I will not live in sin, because I don't want to go against the grain of God no more. Once I decided that, stuff just start falling into place. Blessings on top of blessings. And I went to Texas at first, and I'm like, okay, I got to get a job. Literally applied to 190 something jobs in a matter of just a couple of months. Let me tell y'all something. I don't work that hard. Applying to jobs, I don't work that hard. I go to them temp agencies and I say, hey, I'm looking for a job, and they call me back right away, say, you got so much wonderful experience, Makisha, and they place me right away. I was even applying to jobs that, like Pastor Ken said, I was overqualified for. Like, you telling me I can't work at a gas station? What? Baby, I got 10 plus years in corporate. You telling me I can't work at a gas station? So I remember I applied to the last job. And at this point, I have been on 7 different interviews. I was staying with my god sister and my godson. And I told my god sister, hey, I don't like rejection. I'm one of God's favorite. I don't like rejection. It still don't sit right. I said, these next people that I just interviewed with, and I have went through like 3 or 4 interviews with them, they made it seem like I was about to be getting a job. I said, if they do not take me, I'm going to know that that's God saying I need to just focus on Bizsentials. Like he wanted me to, I need to stick to Bizsentials, and he will provide. Not even the next day. It was the next day. 24 hours later, we're sorry. We will not proceed with you. We're going to go elsewhere with other candidates. I said, you know what? I'm listening to God only. So I listened to God, and I worked on Bizsentials when I didn't know how anything was going to get paid for. But guess what? I never went without. I have yet to go without. I have been so blessed that from my best friend to my sisters, to my brother, to my god sisters, to my sisters in Christ, to even random people, okay? God said that he got me and he's had me. I have not been hungry. I have not been without shelter. I'm sitting in my best friend's car right now. She let me drive wherever. My business, people align with me, however, because I decided that I no longer wanted to be in control of my life because I didn't do it right, and I gave it to God, and I give everything to God. I literally am at a stage where I'm watching my friends have kids and get married, and I want that too. And it literally took for me to take care of my little cousin to even get the mother wants, because I have raised so many people for so long that I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing kids. I'm going to be the rich auntie that travels and, see them kids every now and then. But because I want to heal what was done onto me in my lineage, and I just want that to experience motherhood, but I want to do it right. I have no worries that I'll be able to fulfill being a mother and, defying what society tells us, oh, you too old in age should be a mother. And to find like real true love, I now want to be married. And if you know me, I was not the marrying type, but I will go find a new man every time a man play with me. I'm out here, I'm just getting men to be trophies on my shelf, okay? I love a good looking man. Hey. And, I thought that because I used to be wild, loose, and free, that no man would ever want to marry me. No man would ever, especially once I decided that I wanted to be back in church and not have sex and be, abstinent from having sex until marriage. I said, they gonna be like, oh, not you done gave it up and now you want to shut it down. But having God, I'm like, I know that God's going to bless me not only with a husband that is led by him, wonderfully and fearfully made, in the kids, in the family, in everything. I just got to follow what he tells me to do. And right now he said, I'm putting that on hold so you can focus on this business, so you can help these people that are good people that are needing a way out of their circumstances so that they can go in, the promised land with you. And so because he know I can't juggle multiple things, like I can't even walk and chew bubble gum. I can't multitask. And then if I'm a mother, something gonna fall. If I'm white, something gonna fall. So he's building me up. And he said, these things have to wait because I want you to fulfill this promise to my people. And when I'm telling you, I walked into church today, from the song that the choir sang, from everything with offering, and here's the thing, I never was the one about to pay no money to the church. Now I have witnessed when I just saw them say, oh, hold on.